Welcome students to another chemistry class. In continuation of the previous class that we had, where we learnt about the nature of matter. There also we did, it is the continuation of the same topic. Now in the previous class we did the classification also, but the classification we did in the previous class was on, the factor of the classification was the physical state. This is just a recapitulation I am doing what we did in the previous class. Depend upon the physical state and molecular arrangement. Depending upon the two factors, the physical state and molecular arrangement, we have already learned that matter can be classified into three states. What are the three states you remember? The solid, quickly, solid, liquid and gas. What is the molecular arrangement? Closely packed. Remember, all the properties depend on this only. More closely packed. Liquids little far off from each other, and in gas quite far from each other. So depending upon the molecular arrangement only, because closely packed intermolecular force will be very high, so arrangement will make solid. Here it is a liquid, here it is a gas. This classification is done on the molecular arrangement, the three states, solid, liquid and gas. Now today what we are going to learn, about the composition, chemical composition of this matter, how we can classify them. So it is still we are carrying out with the classification. First we did on this one. Today's class will be the classification of matter depending upon the chemical composition. First was of this, today's will be on chemical composition. You remember, I hope, solid, liquid, gas, what we have learnt, why they have shape and volume, why liquids have no shape but volume, why gases have neither of that. Just revise your that class also, the lessons that you have been given into that class. Now today's will be depending on chemical composition. What do you mean by chemical composition? That is, you know the matter is made out of small particles, the molecules and atoms. We have just discussed a little bit. Now how they are in a matter, whether it is one type of molecules or two types of molecules or three types of molecules. That is we are talking about in chemical composition. The types of the molecules present, the types of the substances present only. According to that, how we can classify the matter. Clear? So let's take that classification according to the chemical composition. Matter is classified into two groups. One is the pure substance and the other will be the, what is the opposite of pure? Impure. Impure substances. We are not talking about solid, liquid or gas here. We are talking about the chemical composition types of the substances that make one particular type of the matter, their structure, how they react, how they show their properties on that. Pure substance and impure. Very common word, pure. What is the meaning of pure? Pure means the originality of the substance, the original particles or original substances which make that particular type of the matter. So it's got all uniform composition. Throughout the composition will be constant. Pure substances always have constant composition. What do you mean constant composition? You take any pure type substance. You can take any simple one like any hydrogen gas, or you take water or carbon dioxide gas. Now no matter from whichever part of the earth you collect the pure hydrogen gas, the composition, the structure, the property will always be same. You cannot further subdivide them into any smaller parts. So pure substances are those which have constant composition throughout wherever it is. Second point, cannot be broken into smaller parts. Even by chemical change. You know physical change and chemical change. So even chemically, you cannot subdivide the substance. You cannot divide the substance into smaller groups, smaller parts. Originality, it's made out of all similar type of the particles, uniform composition, uniform structure, uniform property all through, which cannot be broken further. That is called the pure substance. And the opposite of that impure will be what? They are made out of, we'll come to this, they are made out of not one type but many types. We'll come to it later on. Now let's take this one. Now this pure substance can be again subdivided. These 2 points I've already told you. Now let's see how they are subdivided. They are further subdivided into, all these words are familiar to you. You have done, but maybe in the very basic form, element and compounds. Clear? So pure elements are pure substances, compounds are also pure substances. Pure substance, 2 points, uniform constant composition, same properties. Clear? Now, then what is the difference between the two? If they both have the same point that we have discussed, then what will be the difference between the two? Now, let's come to this point. Elements, all elements are made out of one type of molecules. Uniform molecules. What do you mean one type of molecules? Means there is no combination of anything. One particular type of molecule, you know molecule, that is the smallest particle of matter. So one molecule making that substance. One means not the number. I'm not talking about one molecule, one number. Means one type of the molecule which makes the substance. Just take for example, take oxygen gas. Clear? Or you take a metal, iron. Take iron, the metal. It's iron itself. When it is in the purest form, pure form of iron, all the iron will be made out of this same type of the molecules with uniform composition, uniform property, and they cannot be divided. Same thing that we have been doing till now. Okay, so elements are only one type. And when we talk about compounds, they are made out of more than one type of substances. But it is pure. I'm not talking about, don't get it confused with the impure. This is pure, but made out of 2 or more pure substances. That's called the compound. Now how they are combined? Just let's take example of water. The formula of water, we'll study the formula later on, is we write water as H2O. This is water. Or you very commonly, you know carbon dioxide, CO2. Now in this, get it clear. Carbon is one and oxygen is other one. Carbon itself is one element, pure substance. Oxygen itself is one element. Now that means the compound is made out of more than one pure substance, one element. Water has got hydrogen and oxygen. Clear? So when the substance is made out of more than one type of the pure substance, more than one type of the elements, but there is a condition. How they are combined? Chemically. Chemically combined. When they combine chemically, what happens? When carbon will combine with oxygen, it will make the gas carbon dioxide. Okay? Now this is a compound. Why this is a compound? Because it has got two pure substances, two elements. One is carbon, one is oxygen. So carbon and oxygen together has made this. So it's a compound because it has got more than two. It's made out of two pure substances, this. But how they have combined, you can't take one jar of carbon and one jar of oxygen and mix them. You will not get it. You will not get carbon dioxide. They combine chemically after chemical reactions, and that too by a definite proportion of weight. What do you mean by that? That means there is a fixed number, fixed proportion by weight. Only this much of carbon can combine with this much of oxygen to make carbon dioxide. In detail we study later on. But here, just to make you understand, I'll show you it here. I've written CO2. I've not written any number here. That means 1 of carbon has combined with 2 of oxygen. If you write it just CO, 1, it's not carbon dioxide. If you write it C2O, it's not carbon dioxide. Why? Because to make carbon dioxide, the definite proportion by weight that is made chemically, it will be 1:2. This is what we mean by definite proportion by weight. When two and pure substances, two and more pure substances combine together. What are the 2 points about this combination? First, it has to be chemical reaction, combined chemically, and second point will be what? By definite proportion of weight. Then only we get the compound. Clear? So what is the difference between element and compound? Both are pure. Elements are all made out of similar substances. All the particles are same, only of one type. They cannot be broken down into simpler substances. The simplest form of matter is the element. When the same elements, they join and make different type of substances, put to a mole element join to make one other type of the substance, that is called the compound. Clear? So compounds have got very easy difference. One substance, more than one substance. And chemically combined, they can be broken up, they can be split, they can be separated by chemical means. Because they are made chemically, they can be separated also chemically. If you want to separate carbon and oxygen from this compound, if you want to get back this, you have to apply the chemical methods, chemical reactions. Only then they can be separated. Whereas here, if you take the elements, take only carbons. Just take carbon, take oxygen, take iron. Iron, you cannot break iron into simpler any other substance. Iron is iron. Carbon will remain carbon. You cannot separate them. You cannot decompose them. You cannot break them. Particles, first word I used, remember, uniform constant composition throughout, right? So this is the basic difference between elements and compounds. Now we have got this third group. What is this third group? This is the impure, and impure means mixtures. Very common word, mixtures. You want to eat your namkeen. When you eat your namkeen, does it have only one type of thing or many things together? You have got so many different items together, mix them together to make your namkeen. Clear? So each one is separate, but you have mixed the separate things together. Did you measure? No. Was there any chemical reaction? No. You take little bit of something and you mix it, you get your mixture. You take sand, you take sugar, you take water, you take little bit of mud, you just mix them together. You get a mixture of all these four things. No chemical reaction, and you can separate them also. You just filter, you evaporate, and by different processes you can separate them. Clear? So no chemical reaction, no methods chemical involved, any proportion of weight, you get the mixture. So difference between these two, pure substances and impure. Any number of substances, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever number you want, you mix them. For compound we use the term definite proportion of weight. Here we say no proportion of weight. By any amount you can mix them together. Here we said react chemically. Here we say no chemical reaction, physically, just so that they can be separated. Physically also they cannot be separated by physical means. Clear? So quickly, according to the composition, matter divided into pure and impure. Pure has got elements and compounds, and impure has got the mixture. Right. Now air, you have done the example, air. Air is a mixture or is a compound? Air is a mixture of many gases. It has got oxygen, it has got carbon dioxide, it has got nitrogen, it has got water vapor, it has got other dust particles. Now take about the air of a place. In a place where there are lots of green plants, and you take the sample of the air from a city, too much of pollution. Will the structure of the composition of air will be same throughout both the places? No. In the city, the sample will have more of dust particles, more of smoke, more of carbon dioxide. But if from the greenery part, you will have more of oxygen, pure air, because plants are giving out. Air is pure, less of dust particles, less of the other impurities also. So that means mixture, the composition is not uniform. Clear? Air is a mixture. For example, another example, interesting example, pure water. Pure water and sea water or tap water. Tap water and pure water. Pure water is what? Distilled water, pure water. It is only hydrogen and oxygen. But when we talk about tap water, it has got so many different things. It has got soluble gases in it. It has got different particles in it, dissolved in it. So the tap water will be example of the mixture. Whereas the pure water, the distilled water will be the example of the compound. That's clear? Now that water has got hydrogen and oxygen. That hydrogen and oxygen separately will be the example of the element. This much is clear? Now let's take the next, proceed further. Elements are again further subdivided into 4 different groups. What are the 4 different groups of the elements? Metals, non-metals, metalloid, maybe this is the term you are hearing now, metals, non-metals you have heard, and other one is called the inert gases or noble gases. Inert gases. These are the 4 different types of the elements. 4 different types of elements. Now metals, you know what are metals. Metals are from the earth's crust. In geography you must have learned. Ore, from the ores they're extracted, metals are extracted. From the earth's crust they're taken out. The pure metal, the metals which we extract from them, they are shiny. Metals are most 2 common features about the metals when we talk about 2 points. 2 words we say luster, and we use the 2 terms sonorous. What is the meaning? Very simple. It seems very complicated. Luster means shine. You have seen the steel utensils, they have got shine on them. And sonorous means when they are struck, they make a sound. All the metals, when they are struck, they will make a sound. That property is called sonorous, and the shine, that's called the luster. You can give any metal. The most common metal all of you have seen. Your mummy is wearing jewelry, gold, silver. These are the example of metals, right? What are non-metals? Non-metal, they neither have luster nor they neither make the sound. And they are mostly, non-metals are found in form of gases. Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, these are all non-metals. Another term we will use, I'll use the term today, but I'll explain it later on when we do little more about the chemistry we learn. They are called, metals are all electropositive in nature. Just learn the terms. Explanation we'll do later. And this is electronegative. This will come when we learn about the atom molecule valency. We'll study a little ahead further. So metals, an example you give, oxygen, you can say carbon dioxide, you can say example of hydrogen, the easiest one. Easy to remember also, nitrogen, etc. Now what are metalloids? Metalloids are those elements which show the property of metals and non-metals both. Some properties they match with the metallic group and some match with the non-metallic group. So this middle group, that's called the metalloid. Clear? And this one, inert gases, they are also given another name, noble gases. These have the unique property, they do not combine with any other substances. They don't take part in chemical reaction. They have got special qualities in them, special property. So that is called the noble gases. Helium gas is a noble gas. Clear? Neon, the neon, that gas which is filled in your neon light, the tube lights, that's also like that. Clear? So 4 parts of elements, metals, non-metals, metalloid and inert gases. Now when I'll be sending you the theory parts to remember, and with this point that we have all discussed, and along with it I'll be sending you a chart. You have to learn that by heart. The chart is the name of the metals, non-metals, metalloids and the noble gases with their symbol. It's easy. What do we mean by the word symbol? Symbol means short form. Now every time we are learning chemistry, when we learn hard chemistry, big sentences, big compounds, every time we don't say big names. We have got symbol, short form of every element. So you have to learn that. Short form is very easy to remember because it's always the first letter of the name of that. Like for example, you take carbon, the symbol of carbon will be C. You take the another metal, magnesium, the symbol will be Mg. You take hydrogen, the symbol will be H, like that. So I've given you in your theory part the list of all the metals, list of all the non-metals, metalloids and the inert gases with their symbols. And always remember one point here, the first letter is always capital. When there is certain we use 2 letters because the same letter may not apply for 2. Second letter will always be a smaller one. First will be capital, second will be the smaller one. I've given you in writing, you will get it and just check it. So go through that, learn those, take your time and learn those. This is the very basic part about the matter we have done. Okay? So till here today, bye.